Hi. This project came about because I needed a bit of storage, and I didn't want to just build a box down the bottom of the garden. So I thought, why don't I build a Nissen hut, because I like their designs. And so this was the process. And I couldn't find much online, so that's why I'm showing you this. Might help other people out build stuff like this. So it's just a pretty utilitarian hut, really, shed. Of course, I decided to fill the shed before I'd decided to do this video. This is an 11.5 square metre floor section. I've just framed up the walls. You can see me centering the ridge board. Here I'm just bracing the roof. Just covering the roof so I have a dry place to glue up the laminates. So here I've traced off the iron onto the sheet and done some calculations to work out the radius of my rafters, and added some blocking, and then I'm starting to press the form. The ply that I'm using is 12mm, which is probably the maximum thickness I found for 1.4 meter radius curve. Any bigger than that and it won't work, it'll break. Do the pressing in stages just to get the best results, otherwise you'll end up running out of time, the glue will dry, you won't be able to close up areas, and you just get gaps. Gluing and cramping up the internal laminate. So just make sure that you use plenty of glue, spread it out evenly over both surfaces, and then cramp it up evenly. Don't put too much pressure on one spot. Pull it up evenly. If you've got any imperfections in the ply, that's where it will break. So just work around the whole thing, starting from the middle and then just work out, and then back to the middle, work out. Also, I will screw the whole thing together. So screw through the ply laminates into the blocking. I do this afterwards. I don't pre-drill, because once you start bending the ply, if you've pre-drilled, it'll snap at those points. So I just put those screws in to reinforce it all afterwards. You may notice that I've got some tape underneath the ply, just to create a barrier between the ply and the sheet material underneath, just so you don't glue it together. So that gets ripped up from time to time, so you just have to keep replacing that, otherwise you're going to end up sticking your laminates to your sheet material underneath. If you do have imperfections in your ply, it's better to put that, and you have to use it, it's better to put that on the inside of the radius, so it's actually being compressed. It's less likely to fail. If you put it on the outside, you've got it in tension. If you put it on the inside, you got it in compression, and timber handles compression better than tension. Also, I've marked on the sheet where the bridge board is and where the top plate is, so I can cut those in position. Also, I'd leave this cramped up for a week, so I don't get any spring back, especially over winter when it's got slow drying times. Here I'm just checking that the roof iron that I had rolled matches the building, just to reassure myself before I go too far down the track, and that's worked out well. All the calculations were good, and I'm just putting the end frames in and the middle frames and checking that the centers are still good. And I'm working on one side first. It just makes it easy because it's such a hard thing to screw down without proper scaffold, which is quite hard to get scaffold on the whole thing anyway. So one side done first, and then just with my gale ladder up there. There's the purlins. They're fitting in between the rafters, not on top of the rafters, and then I've just blocked them up. This timber I used, I actually don't know what type of timber it is. It was recycled timber from my neighbour's garage. It got pulled down in the Christchurch earthquakes. Beautiful timber. A little hard to work with because it's very splitty. You can't put screws too close to the end grain. It is quite knotty. So this is it sort of cleaned up. I guess I'll find out one day. But if you look at those growth rings, that's impressive. I counted 70 growth rings, which is obviously 70 years, and that's a 100mm wide board. So that just shows you how slow growing this particular timber is. So yeah, I'll have to do a bit of research. The garage will be over 100 years old, so it could possibly be an imported timber. My garage, which was made of North American Oregon, which was imported around about the early 1900s. So my garage was made around about the same time as my neighbour's. The next thing is got a little bit of work to do on the outside of the building. Some screws need to be put in, some iron needs to be cut, maybe a little bit of extra flashing here and there. On the inside, I wouldn't mind putting a bit of strapping from the curved rafter down onto the top plate and onto the stud work, just to give it a bit more strength, but the iron's holding it together pretty much. So yeah, thanks very much.